Hello and welcome to another edition of You Can Get There From Here. I'm Dr. Joe Moore, Chair of the Department of Communication and Digital Media Production at the University of Central Missouri, and it is my pleasure every week to get to talk to some of our alumni in our digital media production program, some from communication studies, another from the master's program, find out what they're doing today and how that program helped them get there. Today, we are visiting with Katie Legate. Katie got her degree in communication studies, and she is now an organic content marketing manager for Pulse Boutique LLC. Katie, how are you? Good to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. You were just mentioning that you're done for the day, so you probably are feeling pretty good right about now.
Clocked out on a August afternoon. I'm doing good.
Outstanding. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Katie Legate? Where are you from, and what brought you to UCM?
I am from Chesterfield, Missouri originally, which is a suburb outside of St. Louis, Missouri. And I actually found UCM my sophomore year of college. I transferred from a community college. And came in my sophomore year because my best friend went to UCM. So I came to visit her when she was a freshman, never even really knew about the university. But the minute that I stepped on campus, I was like, I have to tour this place. And then my dad drove up with me. We toured it and I fell in love with it and immediately transferred there that next following fall.
Well, we are glad that we got you over here. We got to remember to thank that friend of yours. So,
Yeah, she's great.
you mentioned in your testimonial when I asked you to be a part of things that you are now in your dream job. Tell us about that. What do you do and what's so great about it?
I feel very lucky with how things worked out after graduation. I am a digital marketing specialist. That's usually what I say, but my title is organic content marketing manager, I believe, for an online women's clothing boutique called the pulseboutique.com. And I've done that for 5 years. Previously, I was actually working for a very similar brand with almost the same name. It's a whole long story. But essentially for them, I manage all of our organic content on social media. So Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. I do some paid ads on Pinterest. And then across the board, it's just kind of handling our sales and marketing online, things like that. It's truly my dream job because I get to work from home, but also because I get to manage social media, which I'm very passionate about for a company that is fashion, which is a realm that I'm also very passionate about. So I just feel quite lucky for sure.
That's great. That is outstanding. So I teach our media promotions class and we talk about content marketing. Remind me to reach out to you when we start teaching that class again, and we'll get you in there for that.
Mhm.
So we talk a lot about because my background is teaching in digital media production. We talk a lot about how we use video and audio and the writing and things to create the content to
Mhm.
go out and market different brands and such. Did you have any background in content creation, or is yours more? I mean, like, are you doing any video work, any audio work to put out with the social media?
I would say the first couple years of my career, probably from 2017 when I graduated to about 2019, almost 2020, was fully content creation. I did a lot of video work and had to edit vlogs actually for the previous company I worked for, and that was really fun. But then also I modeled a lot of the clothing, so I was consistently in the photos, and then also in charge of like editing the photos and putting them on social media as well. So like the full circle thing. So, but now I'm a little bit more behind the scenes. So instead of being in front of the camera, I'm taking the content that the ladies at the warehouse, my company's based in Iowa, so they'll create the content there, or I'll request the content, and then they'll put it on to, Dropbox. I'll take it and I'll put it online. So I've really had experience on both sides of that.
So in communication studies, we don't really do a whole lot of the content creation. Where'd you build those skills?
That would be from my YouTube channel. I started in 2014, when I was a freshman in high school. I started a YouTube channel. At the time, it was like a beauty related channel, and that followed me all the way through college. I was very passionate about it, definitely more of like a hobby, but something that I actually put at the top of my resume when I graduated college. And I do think that it helped me get the job that I ended up having right after I graduated. I recall my manager at the time saying that he hired me because he loved YouTube. And so that's definitely where that came from. That was all self-taught. And yeah, basically that's how that goes. YouTube.
We've had a few students that have started their own YouTube channels, and I actually had a prospective student this last year said, "Yeah, I'm doing a YouTube channel, but I'm tired of having to do everything myself, and I really want to hone my skills." And so they find that I learned how to do it in YouTube, but I'm not really sure what to do with it or how to grow that brand. And it seems like that's what you really figured out early on is I've got this skill, I've taught myself how to do this, but now where do I go with it from here? Looks like you've made it.
Yeah, I definitely feel very lucky to have, thankful to my 14-year-old self for deciding to start that channel because it led me to where I am now for sure.
So, what about comm studies? What in that area? You mentioned also in your testimonial media literacy, rhetoric, and then the writing really helped you in your career. In what way?
Well, I think overall the classes that are like offered through the comm studies program, they were just like they covered a lot of different aspects and my memory is actually pretty poor, so hopefully I can like remember I what classes I even took, but I know Dr. Newsom taught some really cool classes and I liked his courses a lot. I took a lot from like improving listening abilities, those classes that were really more about like in-person interactions and stuff because I actually had a minor in public relations as well. So that helped me a lot in the media part, like the written media part of things. But with communication studies, it helped me to just develop my people skills really as a whole and make me a more well-rounded kind of person and employee. And then writing definitely came in handy. So I don't recall exactly which classes I would have taken that required us to write. I'm sure there were plenty of them, but they helped. And along with my job in university relations as well, I managed social media for UCM as a student for a couple of years, the whole time I actually went to school there. So all of those things came together to help me as a whole in my career. So really,
Yeah.
UCM as a whole for sure.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. That we talk about in communication studies. You've got to go practice it. You got to practice those listening skills and those writing skills, and
Mhm.
working in teams and things like that. And so I was going to ask you about what you did outside of the classroom, what you were involved in. But you said you worked in it was then university relations. It's now called integrated marketing communication.
Oh, really? It's
Oh
called
yeah,
something else now? Wow,
yeah, they
that's
changed that a couple of years ago. So you got to work in there with some of those professionals, and you feel like that really helped get you where you are today.
oh my goodness. Yeah, I was so thankful to have gotten that job. I think I started my second semester of my sophomore year, so right away, and it was on campus job, and it was exactly what I would be doing in my career field, but I was doing it for UCM. So I think I managed our Facebook content, our Instagram content, and our Twitter at the time too. So, and I got to go on campus and like, film Snapchats and document things. So I was doing the video work too a little bit. I worked closely with the photographer, all of that. I feel like I had that job, for 2.5 years, which led me into then a career doing the same thing, but just for not a university anymore, basically. So definitely prepared me.
Well, that's the nice thing about being able to take that classroom experience with finding a job on campus because we have lots of
Oh,
opportunities, whatever you're going into, to actually practice as a student. That's one of the things we tell our students all the time is if you're going to work in college, we have student jobs on campus that you can practice those skills. And case in point, you took advantage of that and look where you are today. So what's next for Katie Leggett?
Um, let's see. Well, I had just celebrated 5 years at the company that I work at now, and because I love it so much, I have no plans to leave. I continue to just work, and it's a relatively smaller business. It's a family-owned business owned by two lovely sisters, Kinsey and Mallory, and they have really like grown this business, and it's been so fun to be a part of just like even the early beginning stages of it to see where it can go. I continue to kind of in my free time make content on my TikTok and Instagram reels and every once in a while a YouTube video occasionally. But yeah, mainly just continuing to hopefully help the Pulse Boutique grow online and gain more traction and customers. And that's where I'm at right now.
That's great that at a young age you found a place that you're passionate, that you really enjoy working and looking to see what you can do to grow the business. So good for
Yeah.
you. So last question I have for you, actually a two-part question. I always
Okay.
want to visit with our alumni and find out, we found out where you are, and we
Hmm.
found out obviously that you took advantage of the classes and the activities and the jobs on campus to build those skills. What advice then would you give to somebody who is studying communication studies here at UCM? And then what advice would you give to somebody who's thinking about coming to UCM to study communication?
Hmm. Okay, so if they're a current student, I would say definitely get involved on campus and don't look past the opportunities that there are within the campus to get like a university job. Like those, I had a lot of friends who did university jobs. So if you are looking for a job, I feel like there's so many opportunities on campus to hone in on those skills within whatever department you're in, but also communication studies, I'm sure. So take advantage of those opportunities. Kind of a random one, but go to more football games. I kind of wish I went to more games. Like I regret not doing more of those fun little things. And just enjoy it for sure because it goes fast. And then for prospective students, I would say that the Comm Studies department at UCM is unique because it's in general the reason I chose UCM is because it's a smaller university, and in those circumstances, you can just have such a a different learning experience, one that's more personal and intimate in a way where you can just learn better. At least I felt I learned a lot more at UCM than I probably would have learned in a like a huge class of a bunch of people, like a lecture hall or whatever. So I would say definitely give it a go, and I think that you won't regret going into a comm studies degree at UCM.
All right. Well, Katie, thank you so much for being on today. Good luck to you. Go enjoy the rest of that day. All right.
Thank you so much.
And thanks all of you for tuning in today. Remember, you can catch every episode on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/UCMMN. That stands for UCM Media Network. You can also listen on Spotify. Special thanks to Jake Mager for creating our theme music. Again, this is Dr. Joe Moore reminding you, you can get there from here. Have a great day.